If there's one person on Earth who should have a clean answer about UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, it's Elon Musk. He builds rockets. He runs one of the largest satellite networks in human history. His companies work in the same orbit as NASA, the Pentagon, and the most sensitive parts of the modern aerospace world. So when Musk gets asked the question everyone's obsessed with, are UFOs aliens, you expect a wild answer. And instead, he does something that should make you even more uneasy. He leans toward the idea that if these objects are real, they're more likely classified human technology than extraterrestrials. And he says he hasn't seen convincing evidence that we're being visited by alien life. That sounds like it should end the story. Like a final stamp, case closed. But it doesn't. Because when you replace aliens with secret human tech, you don't remove the mystery, you move it. You relocate the fear. You drag it out of deep space and drop it right into the institutions that already control most of your reality. Because if the weirdest things in our skies aren't visitors from another star, then who built them? Why can't anyone talk about it? Why do sightings keep happening? And why does it feel like the truth always lives one locked door deeper than the public is allowed to go? Right now, I want you to hold two ideas in your head at the same time. First, it's absolutely possible that many UAP cases are misidentifications, mistakes, illusions, sensor errors, drones, balloons, atmospheric effects. Second, it's also possible that a small number of sightings point to something real, something advanced, something we don't fully understand or aren't allowed to discuss. Now here's the real twist. If Musk is right, the scariest part isn't what's out there, it's what's already here. Picture a pilot over the ocean. The sensors pick up something that shouldn't be there. The camera locks on and you see a shape, no wings, no clear exhaust. It doesn't behave like a normal plane. It doesn't behave like a normal drone. It behaves like a glitch in reality. The pilot reports it, the video leaks, the internet explodes, everyone picks a side instantly. Aliens and or hoax or secret weapons. But the most dangerous thing about that moment is the third option, the one that's harder to meme. The possibility that the pilot saw a real object, and the truth exists, but the truth is locked behind classification. Because here's a brutal fact about modern power. The sky is no longer the sky. It's a contested domain. A battlefield of sensors, signatures, spoofing, stealth, electronic warfare, autonomous systems and technologies that normal people aren't supposed to understand, by design. And that's why Musk's opinion matters. Not because he's a prophet, not because he's always right, but because he's inside the system that builds what the public calls impossible and then sells it as normal 10 years later. So let's talk about why secret tech is in many ways a darker story than aliens. Aliens are external, they're unknowable, they're cosmic. If aliens show up, at least the threat is outside the human system. It's not your neighbors, it's not your institutions, it's not your government, it's not the people already holding the keys. But secret technology, that's internal, that's human, that's power hiding power. And the reason this explanation spreads so fast is because it matches history. Stealth aircraft were UFOs to civilians before they were public. Spy satellites were impossible until they were normal. Signals intelligence was science fiction until it became Tuesday. In every era, there are capabilities that exist in the dark long before they enter the light. And classification doesn't just hide the tech, it hides the context. That's what most people miss. The cover-up doesn't have to be a cinematic conspiracy with a single mastermind. Sometimes it's just compartments, walls, need to know. One office doesn't know what another office is doing. One contractor knows one slice. One group sees one piece. And from the outside, it looks exactly like deception, even if it's just structure. Because in the real world, top secret isn't the top. There are layers on layers, compartments within compartments, programs protected not just by secrecy, but by isolation. Some information is classified inside classification, like a locked room inside a locked building inside a locked city. The goal isn't to create clarity, the goal is to prevent leaks. So when a pilot reports a UAP, it is completely possible that the pilot is telling the truth, while also having zero access to what the object actually was. And it's completely possible that the people investigating are doing their job, while also being blocked from the compartments that would reveal the answer. That's how mystery can be manufactured without anyone technically lying. And now, we need to talk about something even more unsettling. Modern technology can create UFO behavior without anti-gravity, without warp drives, without exotic physics. If you can spoof sensors, you can generate phantom tracks. If you can jam radar, you can create gaps, jumps, impossible movement. If you can manipulate infrared signatures, you can make objects appear hotter, colder, closer, farther. If you can deploy swarms, multiple small objects operating together, you can create patterns that look like one large, impossible object. And if you combine that with stealth and deniability, you can create sightings that sound like science fiction while still being 100% human. This is where the UAP conversation gets dangerous, because the public often imagines one craft doing one impossible thing, when in reality you might be seeing a system, a layered effect, a combination of misdirection, electronics, and perspective. Now here's the part that makes people furious. If that's true, you're not being visited by aliens. You're being outclassed by your own species. And when Musk says classified technology, he's basically pointing at the simplest, most cynical answer. The sky is full of secrets because secrets are valuable. Okay, so if Musk is skeptical of aliens, does the government say the same thing? Yes. And this is where the story gets complicated, because official statements often align with Musk's vibe. Publicly, major reviews have said they have not found verified evidence that UAP are extraterrestrial technology, and many cases can be explained as ordinary objects or phenomena, while also admitting that some incidents remain unresolved due to limited or low-quality data. So notice the pattern. The public gets no evidence of aliens, but not nothing exists. That wording matters, because no evidence can mean a dozen different things. It can mean nothing we can confirm publicly. It can mean nothing in the dataset we studied. It can mean nothing that survives scientific verification. It can mean nothing we are authorized to discuss. And for a public that doesn't trust institutions, careful language feels like a mask. That's why this topic never dies, because uncertainty is gasoline, and the internet is a match. Now let's bring the moon into the story, because the moon keeps coming back like a ghost you can't exorcise. Every time UAP becomes mainstream, the moon becomes part of the mythology. Structures on the far side, bases. Why didn't we go back? Why is everything blurry? What are they hiding? Most of these claims collapse when you look at real lunar mapping, real datasets, real astronomy. The moon has been observed by multiple nations, multiple missions, and countless independent scientists who would love to publish the biggest discovery of all time. But the moon stays linked to this conversation for two reasons. First, symbolism. The moon is the ultimate proof that humans can do impossible things. We didn't just conquer distance, we rewrote what was normal. And after Apollo, the moon became less like a place and more like a legend, something half real in the public imagination. That myth creates fertile ground for conspiracy. Second, timing. The moon is active again, private landers, NASA payloads riding commercial missions, South Pole focus, Artemis plans, international competition. The moon is transitioning from monument to workplace. And here's the honest, responsible way to use that in a documentary-style story without lying. You don't claim NASA found aliens. You ask what changes when the moon becomes routine. Because when it becomes routine, more cameras go up, more sensors, more telemetry, more independent observers, and the room for myth shrinks. If something truly unusual exists, the odds of it staying invisible decrease over time. Not because of a grand reveal, but because the data becomes too loud. That's why people feel like we're approaching some kind of threshold. Not because disclosure is guaranteed, but because our instrumentation and presence are multiplying. Now let's talk about the Musk paradox, because it's the core reason this angle goes viral. Musk is a skeptic of aliens, but he's also one of the few people on Earth whose life revolves around the domain where these mysteries happen: aerospace, surveillance, orbit, and cutting-edge engineering. So when he shrugs at aliens, people either feel relief or they feel like something is being carefully avoided. And here's the part you can't ignore. Even if Musk knew something sensitive, he could not casually say it. People online imagine disclosure like a confession, like someone just opens the vault and dumps the truth onto the table. That's not how high-stakes secrecy works. If Musk had first-hand knowledge of specific classified programs, he wouldn't hint at them on a podcast. He wouldn't tease them. He wouldn't play cute. Because that's not a cancel situation, that's consequences. So his safest answer is the one he gave. He hasn't seen convincing evidence for extraterrestrials, and it's more plausible that some sightings involve classified tech. That answer protects him, but it also feeds the fire, because it confirms the suspicion that the weirdness might be real, just not alien. So what are the realistic possibilities? Option 1. Most UAP cases are misidentifications. This is boring but true more often than people want to admit. Humans are pattern machines. We hallucinate certainty. We see what we expect to see. Option 2. Some UAP cases involve advanced human systems, drones, spoofing, electronic warfare, prototypes, stealth platforms, autonomy. This is the Musk lane, and it's terrifying because it implies someone has capabilities the public can't even model. Option 3. A small residue remains unexplained. Not aliens, not definitely something, just unresolved. And this is where humans go insane, because we hate uncertainty more than we hate bad news. We will choose a wild story over I don't know because I don't know feels like standing on the edge of a cliff with no railing. Now some people will say, what about aliens? What if Musk is wrong? Sure. It's possible in the broadest sense. The universe is enormous. It would be arrogant to declare humanity the only intelligence that ever exists. But the problem is evidence. If you want the alien conclusion, you need more than vibes. You need more than testimony. You need something measurable, repeatable, verifiable, something that holds up under pressure. And that's why this story is so potent right now. Because we're caught between two uncomfortable truths. 1. We don't have public proof of extraterrestrial visitors. 2. We live in an era where human technology can look like magic to anyone outside the compartment. So the UFO mystery isn't only about, are we alone? It becomes a darker question. What does power look like when it becomes invisible? Because if you live under the sky and the sky contains objects you can't identify, and the people who can identify them won't explain, then the sky stops being nature. It becomes governance, it becomes ownership, it becomes control. And that's why the most viral line connected to Musk, sometimes quoted, sometimes paraphrased, sometimes turned into a meme, hits so hard. We are the aliens. Because from the universe's point of view, humans are already the strange ones. We're the species throwing machines off-world. We're the species turning the sky into infrastructure. We're the species building systems that operate faster than human reaction time. We're the species preparing to live on other worlds. So even if aliens never show up, humanity is becoming the kind of civilization that, in another era, would have been considered alien. And here's the final twist. If that's true, then the real disclosure won't be a president at a podium announcing aliens. The real disclosure will be quieter. It will be human. It will look like declassified documents, sensor upgrades, more missions, more consistent data, and the slow collapse of denial as independent evidence piles up from different directions. Truth doesn't arrive like a confession. It arrives like a convergence. So let's land this plane with the question that actually matters. Which possibility scares you more? That we're being watched by something not human? Or that the most advanced, unidentified objects have been human this entire time, built in secrecy, tested in silence, and glimpsed only by accident? Because if it's the second one, then the real question isn't, are we alone? It's, who gets to own the sky? And what happens when the rest of us finally catch up? If you want the next episode, we can go in two directions. The history of UAP investigations and why no evidence never ends the debate, or the new moon race, and how the return to the lunar surface is changing everything. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.